So we're not going to learn about World War II. We're not going to learn about World War I in detail. You'll do that later when you get to high school. But just how America kind of interacts with the world. All right? Now, after World War I, let's put our date, 1920, and put the name, Woodrow Wilson. All right? It's easy to remember. Repeat after me. Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
WW.
WW.
World War I.
World War I.
All right? Woodrow Wilson is our president, and he has a plan to try to stop world wars. All right? And this plan is called the League of Nations. All right? So put down the League of Nations. Now, the League of Nations is a place where countries from all over the world can come and talk over their problems, which sounds a lot like something we have today that we were talking about.
The United Nations.
It's a lot like the United Nations, right? Now, what is the purpose? What do you think this cartoon is about? We got a dog, the dog of war. He's got his little muzzle on. Cristobal?
So, like, they could control the war.
Okay, controlling the war, good.
So they wouldn't get involved.
Who wouldn't get involved? All right, so it says League of Nations here, right? So anyone would not get involved, okay? Cameron?
The League of Nations is trying to use diplomacy and then try to put like a cap of the war.
Okay, good. Right?
Contain it.
Contain it. The dog can bark, but he can't what?
Bite.
He can't bite. All right? So, yes, this is a place to come and you can argue, but you're not. Yes, you can't bite. All right? Now, Woodrow Wilson comes back to America, and America is already kind of hibernating by themselves, which we call isolationism. All right? And they already are saying, you know what, we don't want to get in any more fights. We lost enough people. We don't want to get in another fight. This is a treaty to join it, right? And the president can sign a treaty, but it's not a treaty until something else happens. What else has to happen with treaties? Juan?
Well, I guess they have to agree to it.
Yeah, they have to agree. Now people are agreeing. Cameron?
The Senate has to approve.
The Senate has to approve it. They have to confirm it, right?
Yeah.
And the Senate says no. All right, so let's add down the U.S. does not join. All right, and this is the writing on the wall for what is going to become a not very effective body to fight war. All right, if America's not joining, and at this point we're becoming one of the biggest economic powers, maybe even military powers, but probably not yet. All right, if we're not joining, it doesn't look good for the League of Nations. All right, and this isn't really foreign affairs, but something bad happens in 1929. Cameron?
The Archduke Augustus Ferdinand is assassinated.
No, that's 1914, 1929.
How did Hitler exactly know?
Well, we're not there yet, but let's get there. Juan?
The Americans during the war?
No. We're way past that. War's over.
Yeah.
Oh, war's over.
Cold War?
No, close. Cameron?
Hitler took power.
No, that's 1933. People are hurting. They don't have jobs.
Great Depression.
The Great Depression starts, all right? And the Great Depression really affects the whole world, not just America. All right, Cameron?
I know how the Great Depression started.
Like the stock market crashing?
Yeah, and
Okay.
there's also a reason with the banks, like they sort of had these like loans and stuff, and then what happened is like these people, I guess, like the banks shared the loan with each other, and then like they could get bad debt or good debt, and then some people didn't pay them.
Yeah, a lot of speculation on stocks, and a lot of people running to get all their money out of the banks, and banks start failing. But the point is that all of a sudden there is a worldwide problem, and when people are poor and they don't have jobs, they're not happy, right? Now, one of the problems with the League of Nations is that Germany is very upset. Germany loses World War I, and they have to pay back the people who won, all right? And they're supposed to not have a military. Now, Cameron mentioned the guy. Who's the guy? Hitler, all right? So, we're kind of back to our isolationist self, right? Let's put a little isolate up here. And war does break out again. All right. Does anyone know when World War II starts? I know Cameron does. Nico?
1934.
Close.
1933.
I think in 1935.
No.
38.
38. All right. Technically 39, but 38 is when I like to say. That's when we invade Austria. I'm sorry, not we. Hitler invades Austria. Yeah.
He also invades Poland.
Okay, so he invades Poland in 1939,
Trying
That's
to
how it
invade
starts,
Russia.
that's how it starts.
and World War II starts. All right.
Wait, what happens in 1929?
So,
Great Depression.
1939, war, and who's fighting who?
Hitler.
We know Germany, right? Yeah?
Great Britain
Okay, Great Britain.
is fighting Italy,
France,
Okay, versus Italy,
Germany,
Germany.
and Russia. In the beginning, Russia.
Oh.
China.
Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Versus Great Britain.
United States.
US.
Not yet.
Canada.
France.
Canada, yes.
Bro.
France.
Canada.
Canada, yes, because Canada is really kind of part of Great Britain.
Canada.
Canada.
Wait, which one? Who is on Hitler's side?
All right, Hitler, Italy, Japan. All right. Now, in 1940, we have Hitler invade a country. Cameron.
He invaded France, but I have a question. Since
Yeah.
I know that Hitler and Stalin signed a treaty so that they wouldn't like attack each other.
Non-aggression
But
pact.
when was it that Hitler invaded?
1940. All right. So Russia, who we don't think about always as our big friend, but they are in World War II. Russia is our friend, but we're not in it yet. We're not in it until something big.
Pearl Harbor.
This might give it away.
Yeah, attack on Pearl Harbor.
All right. Can I erase this?
The British are
No! Okay.
19 what? 1938.
All right. So let's write down our date. December 7th,
On the time.
1941. Attack on
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. All right, do we know where Pearl Harbor is?
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
All right.
That's where our military
They don't-
base was. Air Force. That's what they do in the Air Force.
What do you think about?
All right, so our big Pacific fleet, the Navy, has most of their ships moored in harbor. We get a surprise attack. It's a Sunday morning. Most of the sailors are asleep down below, and Japan surprises. All right? Repeat after me. December 7th, 1941.
December 7th, 1941.
A date which will live in infamy.
A date which will live in infamy.
What is infamy? Cameron?
Infamy infamous. It'll live in history forever, pretty much.
Yeah, but there's something you're leaving out. What?
Not in a good way.
Not in a bad way.
Oh.
You will live in history as a bad event or a bad person if you're infamous. All right. So we are dragged into the war. All right. Now, the U.S. enters on which side?
One question.
The Allies.
The Allies.
Was on 7th or 1?
December 7th.
Okay.
A date which would live in infamy. Now, who said that?
FDR.
Cameron?
FDR.
Who's FDR? Franklin Delano Roosevelt. All right.
You couldn't walk. Oh.
So, America, we join with Britain and Russia and France, and we see here this is a big propaganda war. All right. What is propaganda? Vicky?
When they're trying to say like something that's really bad is actually really good, so you would join and help them out.
Okay, sometimes, yeah. We know it as the Spanish word for advertising.
Wait, I have a question.
Hang on, let's come back to you, Cameron.
I would just like to point out, I know what two pictures those are from on the left. The top is Iwo Jima, and the top one is, and the bottom one is D-Day.
D-Day. Okay, this is France, and this is an island near Japan. So we're fighting kind of two separate wars at one time. We're in the Pacific, and we're in Europe. All right. We see here, these are kind of propaganda posters. All right. The Japanese were had a terrible reputation at this point. Uncle Sam wants us to buy war bonds. All right. What are war bonds again?
Money for
It's
what?
like stocks, but you invest in it in the war, and you get it 10 years later. You get a big increase.
Okay, that's a good way to describe it. All right. Repeat after me. Bonds.
Bonds.
Here, government, I am lending you money.
Here, government,
I'm lending you money.
I want to get paid back with some interest.
I
I
want
want
to
to get paid back with some interest.
Okay, so wars are massively expensive, and we need people to buy war bonds in America to help lend the government money to fight the war. All right. Uncle Sam always going to be patriotic. Now he's holding like a wrench. All right. And we see up here, what are they trying to push here?
A car.
Not a car.
Wait, which one?
Why are they holding wrenches?
In the United we win?
Cameron?
They're holding wrenches to show that we have like a better army than you, we have a better mechanized infantry than you, that we have better everything than you.
Kind of. You know, we didn't start out with a better army.
You're trying to keep it together?
Kind of. Remember, we don't need just people to go and fight. We need them to do what?
Support?
To
Work
build
in
and
factories.
To build. All of our factories go from being manufacturing consumer goods to manufacturing war supplies. All right, so Ford Motor Company starts making tanks. We have to make planes. We have to make guns. All right, we need to turn our economy from a consumer economy to a war economy. All right, and everybody's going to work. This is a time where we see women in record numbers going in to fight, not fight, to build, all right, to work. African Americans, it's a great time for them to find good paying jobs.
Is this when the thing came out that I was like, yes, we can?
Yeah, that's not yes we can, but there's a famous woman.
No, it was,
Yes we can is who?
Uncle Sam.
Obama, right?
Oh no, Uncle Sam. No, the girl.
It's
No,
we
that
want you.
No, we
No,
no,
that
that
was the girl that is like.
All right, what's her name?
Oh,
Rosie.
Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter. And Rosie is a woman, and not a lot of manufacturing jobs for women, but they need women. They need women to build those planes. Just gonna rivet in those planes. Yeah?
I have a question. At this point, was U.S. already the biggest economy in the world?
No.
The biggest economy, yes. All right? The biggest military? No.
Why the biggest
Alright.
military?
We become the biggest military right towards the end of the 1800s.
But Germany have the biggest military.
Yeah.
Germany is not supposed to be building an army, but they are. All right? They were breaking the treaty, the peace treaty from World War II, World War I. All right? They're not supposed to be building an army, but they built a massive army. Cameron?
I would also like to point out that basically when we became a superpower is when we invented the nuclear bomb.
Well, we're going to talk about that, of how we become such a superpower.
Spin.
Now, here we've got Stalin, FDR, and Churchill, right? Now, he's the prime minister, all right? And these guys need each other, all right? There's some tension. There's definitely tension between these two guys. But Roosevelt, everyone loves Roosevelt, including Stalin. All right, so when Roosevelt dies at the end of the war,
Everyone gets sad.
it's very bad for the relationship between these guys and him. All right?
Like in Unbroken, remember?
Okay, so in Unbroken, oh, you know what? Let's, we have to go back and add something. Do you space with your World War or your League of Nations?
I know.
All right, I want to add something under the League of Nations. Hit pause on that.
Um,